Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I rise to also support this bill, that is the Electronic Equipment Disposal, Recycling and Reuse Bill, that has been tabled on the floor of the House today by the Senator Tobiko from Kajiado. Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, we need to first of all do some definitions, or first explain what exactly is e-waste, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what are these electronic and electrical waste that we are talking about? Because someone somewhere seated probably in a corner of Kiambu County might be wondering, what is this e-waste, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, everybody in this house has a mobile phone, maybe one, maybe two. They have a tablet. They have a digital watch, Madam Speaker, and other gadgets that we use. Madam Speaker, these are some of the things we are talking about. Once you are done with your phone, what do you do with it? If it is broken beyond repair, what do you do with it? What about your watch? What about your tablet, Madam Speaker? And that is these are consumables. What about if we get to homes and household appliances, Madam Speaker? We have fridges, we have microwaves, we do have TVs and other gadgets that we use, even the game consoles, the PS2s, and all those other things, Madam Speaker. Once we are done with them, what do you do with them? How do we dispose them? Because some of them are not, they cannot be repairable, Madam Speaker. If we go to the office, we have printers, we have photocopiers. All those machines, Madam Speaker, those are the things that we are calling e-waste. Madam Speaker, even hospitals, they do have these equipment, Madam Speaker. How do they dispose these gadgets or these materials, Madam Speaker? That is what this law is coming to cure, Madam Speaker. Because in curing, we mean we are requiring disposed, this material should be disposed safely, Madam Speaker. Because as we have been told today, they contain some dangerous chemicals. That is the lead, that is the mercury, toxic smoke. If they burn these plastics from these equipments, Madam Speaker. We even have cadmium, Madam Speaker. That is also some metallic hazardous materials that are used to make these gadgets, Madam Speaker. So this bill is calling for proper disposal of these items so that we can protect our environment, so that we can protect the health of Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are also calling for them to be recycled properly. You know, sometimes when you have a TV and probably you buy another because you can be able to afford a 65, 100-inch, Madam Speaker, and you had a 24-inch or 32-inch, Madam Speaker, how do you dispose that? You can recycle it by giving it out to somebody else who can be able to use it, Madam Speaker, instead of just throwing it to the garbage pit, Madam Speaker. If you have an old phone, probably you can recycle by giving it, passing it out to somebody who is willing to accept and willing to use it, Madam Speaker. Because those times are gone when people used to buy cheap mobile phones, Madam Speaker. Because they understand, they don't know who used that phone before you. Maybe it was a criminal. And you know, nowadays Kenyans are sensitized. They understand that you can get a phone and put a SIM card in it, and the DCI will know where you are. And maybe they've been looking for that phone because a criminal used it somewhere. So Kenyans are not buying old phones, Madam Speaker. So that's why you'll find most of them in the dustbins, or you'll find them in the garbage collection sites, Madam Speaker. So what I'm trying to say is we should also encourage recycling of these materials, Madam Speaker. And also to be reused where possible. You know, that was actually to be reused where possible. Recycling is using some of those gadgets in repair shops or wherever, Madam Speaker. So this law is trying to cure the way they treat this kind of garbage, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as we do this, and this law I know is going to protect this, which is a global problem, because developing countries are dumping these gadgets in developing countries. I mean, the developed countries are trying to dump these gadgets into developing countries, Madam Speaker. And they, dump them through donations. They are calling them resale or reuse. And when they come to this country, Madam Speaker, you only use it for a year. So because they don't want to dump these things in their countries, they are dumping them in our country, Madam Speaker. And you can see we have so many donations that are coming of used equipment, even hospital equipment, Madam Speaker. Of course, I'm not saying that they are not helping the country, but we need to set rules and guidelines. Even if you're giving me something, don't just give me because you don't need it, or just because you cannot use it, or because you cannot reuse it or recycle it. You're just giving it out so that you're using me as a garbage or a dustbin, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I look at the bill, there are a few sections which I would request the mover to also amend them or look at them because they are a bit sensitive. The sensitive part of the bill, Madam Speaker, and Senator Wambua has highlighted it. Madam Speaker, the first question is it encroaching into devolution, Madam Speaker? Because we do understand waste management is largely a county function. So when we give the national government the power to license, they are taking away some of the functions of the county, Madam Speaker. And so we wouldn't want it to encroach on devolved function. So we would request that the counties should be doing the licensing when it comes to waste management, waste disposal, reuse, and recycling, Madam Speaker. The other question that will arise, who pays for the recycling, Madam Speaker? Because sometimes, and when I look at the law, some of these recycling is passed on to the producer, to the importer, to the person who is bringing or the manufacturer. Madam Speaker, if we give it solely to these people, of course they're going to pass now this cost to the consumer. And the mobile phones will be expensive, the computers will be expensive, everything will be expensive. I think we should divide this kind of cost to both the consumer and the producer, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in countries where they have dealt with waste of plastics, Madam Speaker, and in Kenya we are a bit different. Instead of coming up with some nice laws that enhance some of these things, we ban things, just the way we banned paper bags, and now here we are just about to ban plastic bottles. Some countries, the way they deal with this kind of garbage, Madam Speaker, is to make sure that every plastic bottle is attached to some value. Meaning if you use a plastic bottle and you throw it away, if somebody collected that plastic bottle and took it to a supplier or distributor, they get some money from it, Madam Speaker. Not just for use or for whatever, but it has some money in it, Madam Speaker. And I can give this example by saying, if you are producing water or you're packaging water, that plastic bottle will be attached to an amount of about 20 Kenya shillings. So whoever has that plastic bottle, taking it to any shop, taking it to any manufacturer, taking it to any recycler, will be given 20 shillings. You will never see a plastic bottle somewhere, Madam Speaker. Because for that person who does not care about 20 bob and throw away the plastic bottle, it will be collected by somebody who needs this amount of money. And we can be creating jobs and also feeding poor families, Madam Speaker, or those that really require such an amount. So when it comes to this, Madam Speaker, the issue of e-waste, we should also do the same. We should attach some value to some of this wastage, so that if I see a mouse, that is a computer mouse, if I collect it, I take it somewhere, I'll get 5 bob. If I collect a computer keyboard or a mobile phone, I'll get something. So instead of Madam Speaker, saying that the cost will go to the manufacturer, we should attach that value. And when they collect all these things, they can get tax rebates. I collected this amount of wastage, so can I get some tax rebate, Madam Speaker, so that I can be able to continue doing some of these things. And finally, Madam Speaker, the other question we are asking, will this affect second-hand electronics? by making them expensive, or maybe affect the traders, Madam Speaker. Because nowadays, because of TikTok, which for some reason the National Assembly wants to ban TikTok, I do not understand how they think or why they think that way, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, because of TikTok, which is a platform that is free for Kenyans to market their ideas, we have had so many people sell things through TikTok. If I have a phone that I cannot use, Madam Speaker, I can just do a TikTok video and sell it. If I need such a phone, I can do a TikTok video and somebody will sell it to me, Madam Speaker. And I will buy it, you know, in a fairer price. Because some people don't sell things because they're damaged or because they're spoiled. They sell them because probably they have gotten a different or a better gadget, Madam Speaker. So there are those who buy second-hand things to sell to people. So will it be very expensive if these rules comes to place? So those are some of the issues that I would want the mover to think about, and we can bring some amendments to make sure that this law, which is very important to this country, that is passed without so many questions, Madam Speaker. And my proposal, which I'll be bringing to her, Madam Speaker, is that counties to control and license waste collection and recycling, Madam Speaker. All levies to go to the county, apart from the national, the entrance when it comes to import duties and all that, but any licensing when it comes to waste collection, distribution, recycling, to go to the counties, Madam Speaker. And also, we ask for gradual compliance. This is to ensure that small traders, because I can buy a broken TV, because I know I'll get a capacitor in there, I'll get some lights in there to repair another TV, Madam Speaker, so that I can be able to buy these things. I don't probably need a license to go buy one gadget, Madam Speaker. I can just go to my village and say, anybody who has a broken TV, who is selling it, I can buy it and put it in my shop because I'm going to use some, gadgets or some units of it to repair. And also, Madam Speaker, we must protect the consumer. This law should not be used to, to make sure that the consumer pays for it, Madam Speaker, when it comes to when these gadgets are very expensive to handle, Madam Speaker. But it is the best law for this country. This e-waste bill, the recycling of electronics and equipment, Madam Speaker, so I support it with those amendments, Madam Speaker. Thank you.